school.
Can we get a motion off the
Casey.
meeting?
I make a motion that we open
Casey
the
meeting.
meeting.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
There's a whole slew of this.
All right, so let's get started. At this point, is there anyone here who's not necessarily on the agenda to speak, have anything?
No.
Um,
So, first up is the execution.
Oh, yes, for Tandem Bagel?
Brian, there you are.
So this is just, everything is all set, this is just a formality with a check
Yeah.
and our signatures.
The only question I had was, is there a provision for a discounted fee on the license because of the timing?
Rating.
Yeah, well, in our particular case, we lease our building from,
We have, and I'm sorry, I'm just.
okay. Well, in our particular case, we have a lease with our landlord, which is Williston. Where they basically don't want us to necessarily pour beer and wine when their students are in session. So that means our window, we started this process 6 months ago, and now it's great we have the license, but we've only got several weeks before the school year starts. And then they're open to doing special events, that's all fine. But as far as doing like a Thursday, Friday,
I understand,
or
yeah.
Saturday
So,
thing.
what, I know we've done that. Do we have it, did Karen, I don't know if you've done it.
I have not done it.
If
since
Karen,
I've been
if Karen had some sort of, just a straight calculation where we're just taking it by the months and going from there.
I would think that would
You
make
guys
more
don't have any
sense.
problem with that, and you understand what he's asking, right?
No, I'm sorry.
So what he's saying is that since he's gonna get the license, but since Williston doesn't want him serving when the students are in session, so, and they're the landlord, and he's only, so essentially gonna be able to use the license between now-ish and,
September 1.
September 1st. Well, can he get a prorated deal on the license itself, since he's only gonna be able to use it sort of first
Well,
and
I actually, not to interject.
Yes, please do.
He has 9 months out of the year to use the seasonal.
Yeah.
Right,
April
so
through
that's
January.
what you would use, not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, not anything against your business, but what he has with his landlord, I don't really affects the
Oh, no,
city.
I
So
agree.
we would do it by.
Based on, yes.
When
on-
you approve this and then calculate.
I agree with that,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Anyone have any problems with that?
I have
Yeah,
no
and just to be
problem
clear too,
whatsoever.
Williston's not saying that we can't do special events, we can continue to do weddings,
Mhm.
graduations, retirement parties, that type of thing. It's
Okay.
just doing what, kind of what our goal was, which was doing the weekend activities would end September 1 at this point. So, and I realize that doesn't affect your calculations, but I just want to be upfront about that.
So if you flip through and see, when did the ABCC send that back to me? When was that approved?
July 20th.
So basically, if you wanna do, start it with August,
August, September, October, November, 4 months.
4 months.
But that's because it's through November, right?
It's through January.
Oh, it's January.
It's,
No, it's through.
it's April through January 15. I have to go again. What is, let me see if I can see the license, because it will say right on there. It's April 1st through January 15.
So I think you would prorate it from August through January,
That sounds fair to me.
because you'd be renewing it in December anyhow.
That would be great.
They actually don't renew in December. They renew in a different one.
Oh, they do?
Seasonal, yeah. So, Jason, do you have a calculator on that, if you wanna just do that now for him? So it's $875 for the full 9 months, so if you wanna, 875 divided by 9, and then you've got the monthly.
Okay, and then how many months were next door?
So what was it, August, September, October, November, December?
And January 6th.
So the total would be 583.33.
Okay. As opposed to 875,
Right. Okay, is that correct? That's correct?
Mm-hmm.
if you want,
Does
if
April-
you wanna
yeah,
calculate it,
okay.
yeah.
All right, so I just have to write you a new check and I take the old check with me?
You got it.
Okay. Get out to the city of East Hampton?
Yep. And then if you want
Yep.
to proceed with that,
This has already been approved, so I don't see that we need to make a motion to sign this.
That's correct.
What was the total? 83.30.
One place for signing?
Yeah,
Yep.
5th, 2016. Ray, minutes from July 5th. Need a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second, all in favor? Opposed? Okay. All right, next was acceptance letter from the EDIC. Acceptance of letter.
Mhm.
Now, is this just this short? Yeah, short to the point.
Yep.
Have you seen this?
Mhm.
Okay, have you seen this?
I think you should read for the record, just like we just.
Sure. So this is a letter from Josh Rosenblatt, the chair of the EDIC, essentially asking that the East Hampton Licensing Board keep in mind that when deciding on the 8 over-quota licenses, that we keep the economic benefit of the community of East Hampton in mind. Okay.
Okay, so we've got next up,
Abandoned building.
special one days.
Yep, abandoned building brewery. You're up first.
And New
City.
And New City, I'm
There's
sorry.
actually 2
Yep.
of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's got one all on his own, and then he's got one with me.
You
Okay.
2 are gonna come up first to do
Okay,
these.
all right.
All right, so what do we got?
Yeah, so my cousin Kyle has been producing music out of my space. He's got a long history in Northampton. He did sound engineering at the Iron Horse when it first opened, and he's been working with Parks and Rec to rent Millside Park for some free concerts. So we're trying to get a bunch of mill businesses involved from the mills off Pleasant Street, and as part of that, he thought it might be a good idea to serve some beer in the park to go along with some of the concerts. We've noticed that with like the regular Friday night concerts, we don't get a lot of people coming out of the park and up into our tap rooms. So it's a way for us to promote our tap rooms and to kind of let people that might be new to the town or people that have been here and maybe haven't been to our tap rooms yet, experience a couple of our beers and then try to, you know, promote all the other businesses at the same time and get people to cross the bike path, so.
So this is August 27th, that's a Saturday.
21st and 27th, there's
21st.
2 dates there.
Two.
Yep.
2 separate.
Two, yeah. So a Sunday. 27th is a Saturday.
So the 21st, we couldn't pour before noon.
Right.
And we'd end, let's see, the 21st ends at 9. The event ends at 9, and then the Saturday event ends at 10.
11. You have 11 here.
We put down that as the range, just because that's sort of the range that's allowed on the permit.
Okay.
If we need to amend it with the specific times.
So this is gonna be at the park itself?
Yes.
Okay.
I have like a mobile tap system that we're
Yeah.
gonna wheel down there, and then we'll set up a table and a tent, and,
In the parking lot?
not sure exact location yet, that's a good question. Is that a concern?
I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I don't think we'll do it in the parking lot unless we have to, because parking's been a little bit of an issue. Like the last Friday, they had a concert, you had your event, and we had an event, and the entire new parking lot behind those mills and the park parking lot was full, which was great to see.
That is great.
Yeah.
But we're gonna try to maximize parking, even like food trucks, he's trying to work with the food trucks to actually park up on like this grassy knoll in the park so they don't take up a bunch of parking spots, so.
So what is the event again, exactly?
It's a musical concert,
Just a concert.
there's also a
So they're
dance
gonna play in the
performance under the band shell.
Band shell,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So we might be on like the basketball court, which is right there, which is a nice flat surface to have it on or something like that.
So, I mean, apparently you talked to Parks and Rec about all
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Really is anything to do with us, but I'm curious. So then it's your event.
Yeah.
Between
and
the two of
joint
us.
event. Between the two of us, and then my cousin Kyle, who couldn't be here tonight, he's kind of getting the musical acts together and stuff like that.
Okay.
There are certificates of insurance on both,
Thank you.
and we have tips on file for both.
So the way the alcohol is gonna be served is sort of festival size stuff. I mean, the way the whole thing is going.
Right, it'll-
Is it areas being roped off or?
We haven't done this before. The only other people that we've seen pour in the park was Fort Hill when they moved
Yeah.
the bike rally to the park, but
Mhm.
I didn't see their setup. I don't know exactly what they did.
I wasn't here for that, do you remember?
I didn't see it.
No, I saw it on TV.
I think it would make sense, just from the crowd control we've done at the brewery, to put signs up that people shouldn't take their beverages out of the park and into the parking lot.
See, that's sort of what I'm curious.
Sure, I think that makes sense, just so people aren't drinking near their cars. I'm sure
That would be a
we're
good
gonna,
idea.
we're gonna
Yeah.
be coordinating with East Hampton Police too, and we're gonna have a detail on.
Okay,
So
good.
that they're, at least I think that's what we're gonna do, but I know we're gonna notify them.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that.
Sure, yeah, I think that makes sense, cause it's gonna be a bigger event. So we're gonna try to keep people contained to the park, for
Right.
sure. And
And
obviously
make
we're
you
gonna-
guys look responsible.
And we're gonna ID
Yeah.
people all day, and that's.
I guess I'm
that's
more
just
concerned
given.
about the crowd control kind
Sure.
of aspect of it, because I mean, I'm picturing I've been to see a concert there before, and it's all pretty much, the people watching are pretty much relegated to the grassier area.
Right.
And I don't really recall people spilling out that much, but it seems to me like the food trucks and you guys, unless you indeed are gonna be pouring at the basketball court, I would imagine you guys would have, if you're not doing that, you'd have to be pouring in the parking lot. Or
Right.
at least right at the very edge when you pull in the bathroom is right there.
Right, I think the basketball court makes the most sense because it's centralized and it's kind of contains itself a little bit. And then, like I said, we could put signage up, and if not a police detail, we could have people that were monitoring and
Right.
making sure things didn't get out of hand.
Okay. All right, questions from the board?
Just one, when you pour a drink for someone, are you stamping their hand or putting a bracelet on them or something, so
We
they're
can do
just
that.
not handing a cup of beer to the person standing behind them?
Sure.
We've done stamped hands for our Food Truck Friday events, and that works out really well.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that would be a good suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, I usually have, for the one-day events, have less concern about them. Not that I have a lot of concern about this, it's just this one, it seems a little more sort of open.
Bigger,
And,
broader,
you know,
Sure.
and it's a good question what they did at Fort Hill, because I didn't see that.
Neither did I.
Okay. Ray, do you have a question?
No, I think everything,
Okay.
questions been
Is-
fine.
Casey, I saw your hand there. Does anybody have any questions in the audience? Casey, you have a question?
John Vito, Seeking Pursuit. I've been there before for a fundraiser that served beer, and they had bracelets.
Yeah.
I don't know how they monitor it, but that's how it's
I-
done at the park before.
I got about 5,000 bracelets, and I think bracelets are, I like bracelet better than a stamp on my hand personally. Either way, I'm good.
I think, yeah, one of those is a good idea.
Yeah.
The
I
stamp
think that's
people
what-
wouldn't see anyways.
Well, it stamps and they fade and they
Yeah,
kind of,
sweat right off.
sweat right off. Well, I'm happy to do a bracelet. We're more comfortable, I mean, I don't want to speak for Matt, but I know I'm more comfortable when I know people have been properly identified. And if you have a bracelet, it's really clear, then you only have to do it once and you
Right.
get a bracelet.
Exactly, and a
And
police
they're-
officer can see it from a distance.
And they're
so.
tamper-proof, you can't undo it and put it on somebody else's
Right.
wrist. And I'll coordinate with BPD for sure, I'm happy to talk to them about it, they're gonna wanna know, and they're gonna wanna
Yeah, I mean, I
control.
think along with signage, I think we really are going to require there to be the entire area that people are going to be served and drinking be roped off.
Okay.
And I mean, especially, not just the parking lot, but the area of the park that borders right up to the bike path.
Sure.
You know, I mean, the parking lot does too, but the grassy area, and there's behind where the bathroom is, and then over to where the basketball courts are. I mean, there is that section where people can just meander off into the
I would
bike
actually
path.
prefer people not to kind of come at us from behind anyway.
Well, that's it, you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, it'd be nice to funnel everybody
Yeah.
through the parking lot.
Yeah, and yeah, bring them into the front entrance of
Yes.
the park. It's nice
Very
that there's
much
a
so.
natural border of the pond, so it's just two.
Yeah, I would really wanna see some sort of cordoning off.
Sure.
There.
Yeah, we can take care of that.
That's easy enough.
You guys agree with
Yeah.
that? Okay. Anything else?
One motion.
Please, you wanna?
I make a motion that we approve the one-day permit for the abandoned building brewery in New City Brewery for August 21st.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And this
Yeah,
one's a
well,
different
sign,
date.
sign that one.
It's gonna be an awesome event. I hope you guys can make it. There's gonna be a lot of cool stuff there. And we got 2 dates planned in September too, so.
Are you where are you advertising this?
My God, he's coordinating with like the river and, you know, the NEPR, public radio and stuff like that. And I
And
know
what's it called again?
We're gonna be in the,
What-
we had names for both of those sections. He gets crazy with his
Yeah,
names.
that's the other, condition we have, is that we get to name it. You don't have a name when you come.
Suggestions.
Yeah, sure.
You don't remember now, you got it on Facebook.
I haven't put it up yet, actually.
So, you wanna?
And I make a motion that we approve the one-day permit for the abandoned building brewery in New City Brewery for their function on August 27th.
That one's called.
second it.
That one's called Crescent City Revival. It's a New Orleans jazz theme, and the one on the 21st is called Brewgrass Jamboree. It's a little bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna put banners out featuring more than just like the breweries. We're gonna put out a bunch of mill businesses along the bike path, sort of
Nice.
decorate that with banners corresponding to kind of approximately where
Mhm.
people's businesses are located. So we're getting a lot of the business owners to donate, to bring in the talent and kind of
Nice.
whip up the community a little bit.
Two places. You got the same place?
Do you want me to mail those? Or do you wanna pick them up?
Every time I tell you I'm gonna come pick them up and I just don't get you in time.
Got it.
Sure, I'll sign
Thank you. Appreciate it.
that. Yep.
Good luck tonight. Seems like you got a full plate.
Hey, Matt, you can stick around if you really want to.
I'm gonna hang here for the next one.
Yeah, why not? You got the second. Okay, so next up, special one-day license for abandoned building brewery.
So this is another one-day license for our August installment of our Food Truck Friday events. We just had our July one on this past Friday. It's gonna be the same exact setup, same location, same hours. It's gonna be Friday, August 12th. And we've had great success, great response to it. People really come out for it. It even rained for about 20 minutes on Friday, and people still came out afterwards. So we're planning to do this hopefully again, like I said, in August, and then in September, and one more in October again.
Questions?
Okay, yeah, any questions, Rick?
No.
I make a motion that we approve the one-day permit for abandoned building brewery for their August 12th event.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think that works best too.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, so, second 11:30. Okay, sorry. New license application, Luthiers Co-op LLC, public hearing. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing for our new license application for Luthiers Co-op?
I make a motion, we open the meeting.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so, hi.
Hello.
So step right up. Why don't you start out by telling us who you are, even though we know, and go through this entire thing with us.
Sure. So, as far as the current layout of Luthier's side, the goal is to really change very little, to really keep our function the same, to keep the layout the same. Basically, when off the map moves out, we're just looking to open up the two doorways that do connect the two spaces. They're obviously locked right now. And to allow cross-flow traffic, the idea with the second space was to, in addition to food, having more of a loungy, more social area where people can hang out and talk and not worry about interrupting or annoying the bands, or not worrying about not being able to hear themselves because of the bands. So you would hear the music on the other side, but it would have a different function. It's supposed to be, it would be more like a cafe lounge setup. The kitchen is going to be run by outside folks. It's not going to be run by us. They're essentially just going to be renting the back area from the landlords, and we would basically have control over the room itself, and adding a second bar on that side, ideally with cocktails and espresso drinks, because we get a lot of requests for like teas and coffee and hot beverages in the evening. In town, there's no place to get like coffee after 5, except for Mount Tom ice cream, I think. And then, but also the food portion of it, I think they're looking to really match our hours, so they would also be doing some late night food as well as being open for lunch. So.
What are you talking late night?
11 is when our music stops, so that's probably in the ballpark of when the kitchen would close. I mean, it's just an extra hour beyond the other restaurants in town, you know. But that's a different thing. That's their thing. I mean, I'm just looking to provide beverages and also to essentially allow more room for when our room gets full and more people just can't fit in, but they still want to hear the band. They could at least go next door. That's a nutshell.
So, essentially, you're taking the space that was the tattoo, thank you, the tattoo parlor, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Combining it with your existing space.
Yeah. Yes.
And your the existing space will pretty much remain, the function will remain what it is now, which
Yeah,
is
it's
essentially a
pretty dialed.
bar and a music venue that doubles as a music store in the daytime.
Yes. Yep.
Or I've already got my head around that.
Okay.
Took me a while.
Yeah. So the goal is to really not change Luthier's side.
Luthier's kind of stays the same.
Yeah, I think I don't want to cut you off, but I
That's
think
okay.
the only difference with the bar was we'd probably just have, if it gets approved, we would just have a well up there of like one, you know.
At Luthier's.
On Luthier's side, just so vodka sodas, like gin tonics, like your basic well drinks, but if for actual like, to actually get a mixed drink or something, it'd be it's a speed bar, essentially. If you think of it as
Right.
a speed bar.
Okay. So then, the other side is going to be a restaurant, bar, coffee shop.
Yeah, I mean, basically a cafe lounge with a kitchen. On my end of it, it's the cafe lounge. I'll be putting in a bar with espresso drinks and cocktails, like a mixology bar, and then essentially just seating, lounge and cafe seating.
Okay. So, I can come here at
11 a.m.
11 a.m.
or 11:30 p.m. I mean.
Right. And I can get a breakfast.
The kitchen folks, I mean, 11, I think they're talking about having some brunch stuff.
So, okay, let's say 12.
Okay.
Okay? Noontime. Just bear with me.
No, sure.
Work with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so noontime I can come and I can get a late breakfast or a lunch
Yep.
brunch. And I can have a mimosa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so the bar and the restaurant are not one and the same.
They're gonna be sharing the space. They're essentially gonna be operating a counter service. People go up, order their food, take a number
Okay.
to the table. They're
Alright.
not,
Good, thank you.
they're having a hard boundary of their area and our area, so.
So there's no table service, there's
No,
not
no, no.
waitresses here?
No.
Taking orders, drink
No.
orders at the tables?
No.
So everything is being served from the bar?
Exactly.
Okay.
They're gonna come to our bar for a drink, they're gonna go to their little counter for food orders.
But is it a bar? Is it an actual bar that a bartender stands behind?
Hopefully, if,
It
if
just
I get
looks like it's
approved, I
against-
mean, right
it's
now,
against the
no. they're-
wall.
Yep,
It's just called a counter on your plan, bar counter.
bar slash counter. I mean, it's, yeah, it's,
But in the same, but in the same vein as it is at Luthier's, where you walk in, the bar's right there.
Exactly.
So in this, the bar's right here.
It's
in the
almost the
center.
same, yeah.
Right, but in the center.
yep.
Okay. And so maybe if you're getting swamped at the Luthier side, then this could be a backup for
Mhm.
people serving
Good
there.
function is that also, yes.
With people maybe running drinks out to here.
People
your
would have
bar
to go to a bar
backs.
to get their drink and then go wherever they're going.
So alcohol isn't going to necessarily be transported by your employees.
No, we're gonna
bar
be
to
picking
bar.
up glasses from tables, just like we currently do, but people have to go to the bar to get drinks. Yeah.
So what are the hours of operation of the bar?
It's going to be the same as our shop. So 11 to 11 for the most part.
So here we are again. So the bar is open
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
So as long as the door's unlocked, the bar's open.
Yes.
As long as you're open, the bar's open.
Yes.
So who's gonna be in the restaurant?
They're not gonna go public until Off the Map actually moves out. So when that happens, I can talk about it, but I can't yet. So I think they're gonna be out in a week, but I mean, I'll believe when I see it. When they move out, then they're going to start going through that process.
So they're in charge of the food, you're in charge of the alcohol.
Yes.
So essentially, if someone orders a sandwich and a beer, whatever, and goes to a table on this side near the front,
Mhm.
then it's still your responsibility to be watching HBO.
Yes, they're going to be technically in my space.
They're in your space.
Yes.
How many employees do you have?
At this point, including part-time, 12. A lot of them only have 1 night a week, so I mean, really,
And they're all certified, tip certified?
no, that's not the full bar. I mean, we have I think 6 tips folks that, I'm talking about like sound people, teachers.
I'm talking
luthiers.
about people that would be,
I think there's 6 total.
Serving
There's 6
alcohol.
tips folks, yeah.
Okay. Right?
Okay, I have concern about that.
Okay.
If, say the 3 of us come in,
Sure.
okay, we sit down and we'll just say a steak, 3 of us order steak,
Mm-hmm.
plus 3 Budweisers or whatever. That's gonna be registered in register, right?
Are you asking if it's the same register for the transaction?
Yeah,
No, it's gonna be 2 separate.
so
Yeah.
it's gonna be 2 separates
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
If the meal is gonna go into the meal
Yes.
to your partner or whatever it is,
Yep.
and you're gonna do the alcohol into your register?
Yes.
So we'll get 2 different bills?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not the most convenient thing, but it's honestly, there are lots of places, where, like even in New Orleans, for example, it's super common to have an independent kitchen running out of a little hole in the wall in the back of the bar. It's, yeah, essentially, or even like a Riff's Cafe side, you go to the counter to order, there's no table service, you go to the counter order, they give you the little number, you bring it to your table, and yeah, they'll run the food out to you, but after that, like, if you want something else, you have to go back up to the counter, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Right, but the difference here is that these people aren't your employees who are serving the food at the counter.
Those, no, the separate, yeah.
Right.
No, I will not have anything to do with food. So.
Right. So what's to say that they can't pour a drink for somebody?
They would have to be tip certified and then on my payroll, and they could be, I guess they,
Sounds complicated.
It can be, but it doesn't have to be. I guess it depends how you want to look at it. All I'm focusing on is the bar, you know, and there's a hard line between where their business starts and mine stops. So it's not complicated to me, but it could be, I guess.
Well, that's what I'm concerned about, how you're gonna do that. You know, with two people going in basically two different
Mm-hmm.
businesses of putting the money in.
Yep. It's just they have their space and I have mine. I'm doing the whole front of the room, you know. They're not paying for tables and chairs. They're not building the bars. They're building out the kitchen, you know.
Okay.
I'm doing any place a customer has access to is going to be my responsibility.
Yeah.
So really it's the kitchen and their little counter right in front of it that they're going to be doing.
Okay.
So.
I could do a site visit, because I've never been there. It's like.
Last time we had one.
I just-
Yeah, I'd like to
I'd
too.
like to
What is
see
the,
this.
how far along are you with the space adjoining yours?
I'm not even in there. They're still there.
You're still there.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, you can do a site plan to check out Luthier's, but as far as the next door space,
No, that's what I would want to see.
yeah, that's the problem. It's they're being held up on the other end of their new space, contractors and
Right.
such.
So when do you think they're gonna be out of there?
Well, July 1st.
Wow.
No, I think we can
Still
get it,
see.
as long as, they should, I
Yeah, if they
imagine they
allow
wouldn't have a
access,
problem with us
yeah.
just walking in there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, and they,
Yeah.
yes, I went in with
Yeah.
the architect, so they're totally
Yeah.
cool. They're super friendly, yes.
Okay.
We can definitely go in, and I can at least show you the two doors that go in.
Yeah.
You can visualize the
That-
space.
I think that would be good.
See where the kitchen would
Yeah.
be, yeah.
And Kelly has never seen Luthier, so
Okay.
it'd be good for her to see
Cool.
it. Okay, great, well, let's schedule that. So, we're gonna have a few of these, so, why don't we start figuring out how these are gonna stack up? Guys?
So I'd like to keep them with the Mondays and then try to group them together.
Yes, I agree, so, we'll start with this one.
And we'll do the 15th.
You're gonna have a hard time doing site visits on Mondays, if that's what you're talking about.
Why?
Every place is closed.
Well, that makes it better, then we're not interrupting anybody's business.
It does. Yeah, so that would work. You won't be able to see Luthier's in operation, but you can at least check it out, so.
Why is it 15?
Just to have
Oh,
more time.
okay, all right, well, 15?
Yep,
15th?
15,
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
Is that good for you?
Sure.
So you're gonna meet us there?
Yep.
And just confirm that we can get into the space next door.
Yeah, they're open till 7, and they're
They're open.
every day. They're open every day. So 15th at 5, I'll meet you in
Yeah, right
our
up front.
space, and then we'll go in. We'll start in our space and then do the tattoo shop.
Yeah, that's fine. So, then, while we're at it, do we want to schedule to continue this?
Yes.
Unless there's anyone in the public who has any questions or comments? Okay, so, first available meeting is the 5th of September? No, that's Labor Day?
No, the 12th of September.
Would be the 12th.
12th.
September 12th.
Okay.
At 5:15?
Yep.
That sound good to you, McLaughlin?
Yeah.
Can I get a motion to
I make a
continue?
motion that we continue the new license application for Luthier's to September 12th at, do you want to do speak time first and stuff? Do you
Well,
want
we're
to do
gonna-
5:20?
We'll do speak time at 5. So
Okay,
let's start.
so 5:15.
As I-
And a site visit on
8:15 at 5.
8:15 at 5 o'clock.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we'll see you on the 15th.
Awesome. Thank you much.
Here.
Okay, so, next up, new license application for Amy's Place, doing business as the library, which will dovetail right into alteration of premise of Amy's Place Incorporated. Can this public hearing is scheduled for 5:45 today? Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
Make a motion to open the public hearing for the new license application and alteration of premises for Amy's Place.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hi there.
Hi, Amy Fleur,
Andy?
Amy's Place. Hi there. I'm an existing business. I think you guys already know that. I expanded my premise in '09, and I had a banquet room, and it was too small to really be profitable, so I changed it into the library, and there's a door, obviously, that goes through to make it legal for the ABCC. So what I would like to do is I would like to close it off for noise purposes and because the entire space is completely different from Amy's Place and the restaurant. So what it does for me and hopefully for anyone in the future is it would tie a license to that property because that's a separate property from 80 and 82 Cottage Street that I originally bought. So I would like to have a license for that new premise that's its own. It also, for business sense, I can run it as its own business. I can do my pricing. Legally, I can't change pricing no matter what the atmosphere is. Under the same license, you have to keep all the alcohol the same price for the same product. So I would like to have one of the new licenses to be able to close it off and make it its own business. And then for the future and for the future of Cottage Street, if I decided to sell it, a license would be attached to it and it would still be the same storefront.
So when would you be using it then?
I'm using it right now. Right now, it's functioning under Amy's Place license. And it has to have a door in between legally to be able to serve alcohol over there and be attached to the other premise. My original license is 8082 Cottage Street, and then I extended it and turned it into the library. It is now open 6 days a week, 5 o'clock till 1 o'clock, and starting to pick up business really well. It's a great atmosphere. It's more relaxed and quiet than Amy's Place. So.
Why don't you just do an extension of premises and have one license cover it all?
That's the way I'm operating right now. I'm
Yeah.
operating that way right now. But I would like to be able to have the ability to close it off and operate it as a separate business. There's a lot of legal things tied to it that, as far as the license and what I can do, because it is an extension right now.
It is.
Yeah.
When do you plan
I spoke to Ralph from the ABCC.
Yeah, see, that was my next question.
Yes, I spoke to him twice. I can have 2 licenses in the town. You can have more than 2, actually.
Yeah.
And he said the only thing I have to be careful about is, so that I can still operating, is making sure that they concur.
Oh.
So as one gets approved, the other one, the alteration will go back to the original license.
So that's why you're also going for it, you're trying to get the alteration of premise.
Yes.
Yeah, see that?
That is, there's a letter in there that I wrote, and I spoke to him and asked him what else I need to do. And he said because it's existing now,
Right.
just, it has to be done all at the same time. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to operate.
Well,
That was
Well,
my
mine
question.
contradicts what Ralph was it?
I did, I actually
ABCC
spoke to him,
says.
I actually spoke to him twice to ask him about that.
I've never been in the library. How many people is that?
So between 30 and 40.
30, 40?
I mean, also now I'm looking at breaking down my occupancy as well, because, so that I don't have to get into sprinklers, it's
Yeah.
a separate business. I mean, there's a lot of business ends to it that make a lot of sense for me
Yeah.
to separate it, not to mention the value of it.
Yeah. No, I was just curious, because
Yeah, it's a bar with seats, and there's a few low seating, you know, nice high top, or high chairs, high back chairs.
Yeah.
There's a couple of seating areas.
So can I go in there now and have a beer, or is that?
No, we're closed on Mondays.
Wow.
But tomorrow you can.
Wow. Okay, how about tomorrow
Everybody's
night
closed on
at
Monday.
7:30?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Oh, boy. That's a Bud Light, too.
You can't have a Bud Light there, but there's other good beers there.
So then the whole purpose of this essentially is because it is a better business decision for you.
Absolutely. Right now, I'm limited on what I can do over there because it is tied to that license. I'd like to be able to run it as its own business. It's a completely different atmosphere.
Is there available space for food to be served in there?
We do snacks, we do a charcuterie platter, which is meats and cheeses, dessert plates.
And that's what you'd continue doing it if the
Yeah,
business
yeah.
was separate? Okay. I didn't know.
I'm planning to leave it exactly the same as it is right now. It's functioning perfectly the way it is, but this is a business decision. And for my future, to have a license tied to a different business and a different property and put my other license back to the way it originally was is, it makes a lot of sense.
But right now, is the food coming from Amy's place
Yes.
into there?
Yes.
So in the future, if you were to sell this,
I would just go to the Board of Health and I would speak to her about the way we prepare it or whether I buy it from Amy's place and then it's served over in the
but
library.
the doorways would be closed off from Amy's place to the
Correct.
library.
Correct.
So food would have to leave the building and come back in a different entrance where it
Well,
travels
it's,
through the
it's
building.
packaged really anyways. I
Okay.
mean, we make trays and package them and then, so technically I could just sell it to Amy's
Okay.
place and it's already prepackaged and
Okay.
it's
Sell it
put
to the
together.
library from
I could-
Amy's.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
I knew that.
So that's what you're saying is that if in fact you get this additional, you get this license for the library,
Mhm.
you are gonna close it off.
Correct.
And they're gonna be completely separate.
Correct.
Any food that you serve may or may not come from Amy's, but
Right.
it's not coming through that doorway.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, if I'm correct, if you've got this overquoted license,
No, I have an original license.
no, I'm talking to what
You
you
got
want.
this one.
You were looking
Do I
for a
want? Yeah,
overquoted.
yep.
They can't, you can't sell that,
No, she
You can
can't-
sell the business.
right?
Yeah, it's attached to property.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it just
my
can't-
point
It's
is,
gonna
if
be
I wanna
attached.
sell that piece of property, now it's worth something because it
Okay.
actually has a liquor license that goes along with that number.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
Yep.
Anybody else on the board have any questions?
No.
Anybody in the public have any questions or comments?
I'd like to do a site visit
Sure.
when we're doing these other ones.
I agree.
Is that good for you if we do the same day?
That's fine.
Like,
You're not open on Mondays,
I'm not open on Mondays, but.
but you can meet us there?
Yes, I'm.
All right, so it's good. Just right down the street.
I make a motion that we do a site visit on August 15th at 5:15. 15 minutes enough time?
Yeah, make it 5:15 if we're running, I mean, we'll try not to run too late, I don't wanna keep you
5:15?
waiting, but if we're
5:15.
5:15, we'll be right down the street.
And
Same day,
continue
okay.
the public hearing.
Same thing as Steve said, so we're not gonna be open and functioning, but you can get the
Yes,
gist of
that's,
where
I
really
really
the
wanna
doors
see
and all
the
stuff.
site is
Yep.
more
That's all
what
we
I'm.
need to see. I
Okay.
don't think any of us have been, or Ray hasn't been to the library, I've never been.
No, yeah.
And continue the public hearing to September 12th at 5:30.
Motion, I guess second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good, so we'll see you, about 5:15 on the 15th,
Okay,
and then back here on 12th,
yep,
around 5:30,
okay,
okay?
Thank you.
all right, thanks.
We got a couple minutes there.
And this is,
Well, you're up next, so.
wanted to
Oh.
make sure that his was at 6 o'clock.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up, we have new license application for Under the Bridge LLC, scheduled for 6 o'clock today. It is indeed 6 o'clock. Can I get a motion to open this public hearing?
Make a motion to open the public hearing for a new license application for Under the Bridge LLC.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, okay. Yeah, sure. Mr. Bundy?
Yeah, so, Suite 160, also called the West End, we've been running it as a community space. And it's had a beer and alcohol and wine license. And we'd like to get an all alcohol license, so it gives us more diversity of what we do out of that space. Out of that community space. And I have a letter from Burns Maxey, who used to be head of ACA Plus, where she documents sort of all the different things we've been able to do out of there for the community. And also I have a letter from Riff's Joint in the Hideaway that says that they're very happy with what those events do for their business.
How many functions do you have there a year? Is it booked basically every weekend?
It's booked probably, maybe every other weekend. It varies in terms of what our use is, because it's open for workshops, it's open for, on weekdays, if there are drawing classes there in the morning. We've had nerd nights, we've had the EAT fundraisers there, we've had a whole bunch of different things that the art community has put together to.
I've noticed a lot of one-day permits coming into us for functions in that particular place.
No, that's at the other end of the building. The one-day permits are for the end of the building, what we call the ballroom, which is.
Is this the
This is
function
right
room across from Rips?
Yes,
That's the one that they come in for the one-day permits.
they shouldn't be coming in for one-day permits. When does that happen?
We've had them.
There is, so.
Because
orientate
they
ourselves.
shouldn't, they.
Well, orientate us for, as far as, there are 2 separate spaces, correct? That you have events. There's one on.
Well, there's the
that you're
whole
talking
first
about.
floor can be an event space.
Mhm.
And then at the very end, there's about, what used to be about 6,500 square feet that's now finishing the floors, and it's been inactive because we're changing it, but that's probably about 12,000 square feet. And that's going to be modified somewhat in the next six months or so. Because we have a tenant for about half of it, and then we're looking at still keeping it available for, crafts fairs or Uberfest or the different things that happen down there. That sort of are one-off events that happen in the building. Comic-Con, the Topatacon, the comic book website thing and so on.
Will, the Uberfest, that is not in this space.
No,
That's the
that's
kind
it.
of event that I think you're speaking of, Kelly, for the special one day. One of them was the Uberfest. So Mr. Bundy's saying that is in the other space, not this particular one.
Okay. So, essentially, looking for an all alcohol license too.
It's a better, basically, it's a terrible business model anyway, but it's a better business model with an all alcohol, and just makes it more feasible for me to keep doing what I'm doing as a community space. And it's a very active, important space.
What's a terrible business model?
Well, just basically, I'm really running it as, it's basically available to people in the community, and I give it away. I basically rent it out at a relatively inexpensive cost, and, when I can, I sell beer and wine if the event is appropriate, and now I'll be able to offer a diversity of events that might make it more attractive.
So the all alcohol license is strictly for an event space?
Yes.
And you say you have events scheduled for every week?
We have, not all of them are for alcoholic type of events. We run conferences out of there. We just had, the Bar Foundation came out to go to the space for the day. And, they're board retreats, and then they end it with a dinner and have beer and wine. There's a variety of things.
So how many events do you have there a year? Approximately.
Well, the building is used 5 to 7 days a week, but they're not all events. Some of them are classes, some of them are events.
How many events a year do you say that beer and wine are served? Or what percentage?
What percentage is, I mean, it's basically weekend, it's usually weekends or nights, and then I'd say that probably, you know, at this point, the beer and wine might be 30 to 40 events.
A year.
Yeah.
And you'd say that think that if you were able, if you had an all alcohol
Well,
license,
it'd be
would that number?
there'd be different kinds of events that people would be interested in doing.
So possibly having an all alcohol license could possibly increase the amount of events that you would have.
Yeah,
Ray?
No, you, I was listening to you, you did.
All right. Kelly?
And what events do you have at the other license that you have at the other end of the building?
You mean in the, what used to be the Apollo 121 Club? Right now, we're doing, that space is in transition. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to keep it active as a performance and active space. So there's jazz that happens there once a week. We've also been working, we've got a big band that comes in a couple of times a month, and we're keeping it active because it is sitting right in the path that connects the back of the building that's now opened up to us because of the Mill District development. And the connection of, this is really, I should have a map, but basically the connection of the main building to the building that we're now going to be developing is going to run right through the back kitchen of the 121 Club. So my feasibility of launching into something full force in that space is inhibited by the fact that I know I'm about to tear it apart. And so it's, I'm keeping the space active. We've done some private parties, we've done some other things, but generally it's, the complication of my building is that, and Jay is here to validate, is that we have 2 different sides to our building that come in at 2 different floors. So the trick is how do you integrate everything so that things flow from the front to the back, and also because I have a 50,000 square foot building that nobody knows about that sits behind there that I'm developing. So I'm working all these different things out with my architect and my engineer to integrate all those different things, and I'd be happy to walk you through what all of that is. But that ultimately is designed to be a restaurant, and that's what it's going to return to when that development and work is done.
Now you have parties there now, which is beer and wine.
At the 160 space, yes.
Yeah. All right, now, if you got the beer, the all alcohol, what kind of party or groups would you end up moving up to, you know?
Well, we had Nerd Night for about a year. We lost Nerd Night, and part of the reason I think we lost Nerd Night is because basically they can go to a place that's all alcohol, and we weren't able to deliver on that.
Mm-hmm.
That was very successful. We probably had the biggest audiences, but they didn't, you know, they were happy that we went from all to one. You know, we could move more into private parties type of things that we've been less sort of available for, because again, that's more likely to need the alcohol.
It's just curious.
Yeah.
What type of parties you would have that you really need, if you've been in business for so long?
Well,
alcohol.
I run a community building, so part of it is sort of what does the community come out to do and so on. And once we have beer and wine, once we're doing that, it's been a large variety of creative and thoughtful events, and I think the all alcohol will only increase what those varieties are.
Any other questions?
And just want to say that Burns says it better than anybody. I mean, per discussion of what's going on in that space and all the kinds of things we've been able to do. I couldn't say it as well as she does.
Anyone in the public, anyone have anything they'd like to add, any comments? Okay. What's your pleasure? Kelly?
I just wanna look a little bit back in the minutes and stuff, because I really believe we had people coming in for one-day licenses.
Okay.
For that spot. So I'd just like to research that a little bit.
I don't, does anyone really think we need to do a site visit?
I do not, I know, I'm familiar with the site,
Okay. All right.
but I would just like to look into that a little bit further, and Nikki, if you could pull those for me.
Do you think that would have dated back before we had our malt and wine license?
No. No. No, I know it was after, because I remember making comments into the public meetings about why they were coming before us if you already had a
Right,
license, so.
that makes no
So I
sense,
just have to
that
look
makes no
back at
sense,
the
that makes no
minutes.
sense to me.
Okay, well, then, sorry.
So I'd like to make a motion to continue this public hearing to the September 5th at.
September 5th?
September 12th.
September 12th, okay.
September 12th at
5:45.
5:45.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Is that open to me to see what those minutes were as well, if there's anything?
Oh,
else?
sure, they're
Yeah,
open.
with ours.
I mean, I can look, I have them here, I'm not gonna make everybody sit here while I look through all my
I'd
papers.
just be, I mean, I'm gonna be somewhat surprised if you find something, but I'd like to know that to this issue.
Okay.
All right.
Just go back in the file.
Did you hand this directly to me? Did this not go?
I
No, I
just brought
correspondence?
that today, that was Richard.
Well, maybe,
Lyman.
and that is this as well. We wanna enter that in.
I wanna
with
enter that
everything.
in with
Yes,
everything
please,
else, so I'll
yes.
give that to you.
Just- I just need
Yeah.
to-
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Nicolette, that you wanna share with us before we crash into 6:15? So we're filling up here for, the 15th. Are you going to email all of us these days? You'll do that for us, wouldn't you? Okay, you're swell. Okay, close enough. Sorry, no, I mean, it's exactly, 6:15. So, next up, do you have the paperwork?
I'm sorry,
All right. 6:15, new license application for Off the Map. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
So, public hearing for 6:15 for new license application, Off the Map Incorporated. Any motion to open the public hearing?
Make a motion to open a public hearing for a new license application for Off the Map.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
Hi, I'm Steve Sanderson, co-owner of Off the Map. This is my general manager, shop manager, Louisa Allen. We've been operating at 112 Cottage Street for the last 10 years as a tattoo shop. And 7 years ago, we started branching out into arts events, which has led us to events all over the world, educational seminars that involve entertainment, eating, drinking, dining. We've done them in 6 different countries, 6 different states in the U.S., and we are currently moving into 84 Cottage Street, the Majestic Theater, and renovating 2/3 of it right now, with an eye on making it a 1920s theater motif again. We're expanding our tattoo business, and we also have set aside 1,400 square feet for event space. So what we'd like to do is continue bringing more world-class artists and enthusiasts of art to East Hampton. At this point, we've put East Hampton on the forefront of the tattoo industry. We're recognized worldwide as one of the innovators and leaders in tattoo education, artist education. And we've done this through our worldwide events. 3 years ago, we had to expand, or 2 years ago, we had to expand and open up a satellite location in the Button Building. And we are now condensing to one central location at the 84 Cottage Street Majestic Theater with a purchase agreement. In the next few years, we will own the building and expand into the last third, where we hope to continue to renovate the theater and continue to do our art events, which are, we have painting events. We bring in world-class artists from all over the world, and people fly from all over the world to learn from these artists, and they're social events. We just finished Black and Gray Week, which drew 40-plus people over the course of a week. We had to split between our 2 locations. That's a smaller local event. We'd like to expand to our Paradise Tattoo gatherings that we do at Chimney Peak, or we've done out at, we've done 2 in Colorado, 1 in New Mexico. We just rented a palace in Venice, Italy for 6 days, where we held a 6-day art summit and brought the best tattoo artists and painters from all over the world to get together and socialize, share, teach each other. And we'd like to bring that to East Hampton. And we feel that applying for a license to serve alcohol will help us financially do that, and will help us bring more of these events to East Hampton.
How often would you have those?
Well, right now we have at least 40 nights a week. We do a bi-weekly webcast already with the limited space we have, which attracts people every 2 weeks. Every other Sunday night, we bring in a world-class artist and webcast live to the world with a studio audience. And with the larger space and being able to serve alcohol, we could attract even more people to events like that.
And do weekly paint nights.
I'm sorry?
Do weekly paint nights. We're hoping to do weekly paint nights on Wednesdays. Like, bring in artists and.
Question?
Yeah, explain the whole, how the alcohol fits into all of this.
Yeah.
The alcohol, these are social events, and we, being able to sell alcohol, number one, would help us pay for these events, help us bring these artists. These artists come with, it's like hiring a band.
Yeah.
You have to pay for them to come, put them up.
Okay. More so, like how that works in the entire space, like how,
Okay.
like the flow of it, you know?
Yeah.
Is it, what type of atmosphere? Is it a bar, you know, is it a
Right.
singular bar that covers the entire, because I mean, it sounds like there's different components of what you're doing
Yep.
in the entire space.
Right.
You know, so how does that work? How does it fit in? When is the
Okay.
bar open? Is it strictly just a bar where you can walk in, it's like, hey, let's go to Off the Map for a drink?
Right.
It's not that kind of thing. It's like,
Right.
we're going to Off the Map for a event
Yes.
or something, and while we're there, they're gonna
Right.
serve alcohol. it's gonna be a cash bar more often than
Right.
not. I mean, am I on the right track
Yeah,
here?
we don't want to be a drinking
Okay.
destination.
Okay.
We're not a destination to go and drink, but
Uh-huh.
we do many events, and we would like to be able to offer
Mhm.
beverages
Okay.
while these events are happening. And the alcohol license would help us increase those events.
Imagine, yeah.
Especially when we move into the rear part of the space and start to renovate the stage and theater.
Right.
Do these artists stay in the area for a certain period of time?
They do. We're constantly assisting artists with staying. A lot of artists from all over the world have moved here. We currently have a new resident artist that's moved here, immigrated here from Russia, China, Japan. It happens all the time. We've been bringing people to East Hampton for the last 10 years.
Over 100 artists over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just artists, and all these artists have their own followings.
And what do you have for staff currently that would be handling serving alcohol during these events?
I would be managing the liquor license, we would make sure that we had a tip certified
So
server.
you're the manager, you would be the manager of records? Okay.
That's, my name is on the application.
Okay.
There's that.
And so it would be, still, there would be a bar?
Yes.
Okay, and so at the events, it would be just like any other bar, you'd be at an event, and there'd be a bartender, and possibly even someone going person to person and handing out drinks, or yes or no? They're gonna be, are there tables at any one? I know there's a drawing here that I haven't really looked at.
Yeah. We don't have, we're getting the occupancy permit this week, and we are excited to move in, but there are some questions. We're not quite sure yet.
Okay.
But the event space is already there. We will be, so, here's the 3 storefronts. This would be the main entrance for Off the Map, the reception, and this would be a waiting room. And then you enter through here, and this entire space, which is 28 square hundred feet, half of it is designated to tattooing. They're built up half-wall booths. And then this half, we are designating for our event space, where we could put in tables and chairs, or we could put in standing room. The bar would be along here, because our sinks and our water is in here, and our stage is going right here for our seminars, our temporary stage, until we move into the back.
So when you move into the back,
Yeah.
and of course, the application, this entire premise is in the application.
Yeah.
So, when you move into the back, it's just an expansion of everything, it just explodes to the back.
The stage will get bigger, and our capacity will grow larger, and we'll be able to compete for more world-class entertainment at that point.
Okay, so, you're not just seeing this as a place where artists are gonna come and gather and teach and learn and be with each other and all of that, you're looking at this could be an event space as in,
Cultural epicenter.
like, there'll be
Absolutely.
music, live music.
We would like to bring theater to it. I'm a professional events producer. I work for Northampton Arts Council as the events producer, and I run full-blown theater productions and musicals and sometimes rock art, performance art.
And would the bar be serving just during events, or would every day would the bar be open?
The bar would not be open every day. The bar would be open 4 days a week, and some weeks, 2 days a week. But it would be open every week, but it would not be open every day. And it would not be open all day. It wouldn't open until evenings.
So just because I'm coming in for a tattoo doesn't mean I can get a drink?
No, no. And usually the events wouldn't start till 7 o'clock at night.
Okay.
But some of the art events do go on all day and all week. Like for Black and Gray Week, we brought in 8 artists, and they drew from noon until midnight, and people came and watched them draw. We were at capacity. People wanting to watch these
Where's
artists
everybody
draw.
gonna park?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We'd like to build a parking garage too. Is there a good spot?
That would be fantastic. I'm all
I've got
over
some
that
really
one.
good ideas on that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah. But still, I mean, it isn't a walking in, walking out all the time kind of thing.
It's not a drinking destination, it's an
not.
art destination that serves alcohol.
Okay, I understand. Right?
Done?
Really?
When when you guys asked about if there was a regular bar or was in and out, that was my question.
How far are, you said you're close to getting your CO?
By the end of the week.
How, like, what's the condition in here right now? Can we walk through here?
We've started renovating it.
We-
We're bringing it back to a 1920s theater.
So, even if we don't need to see it, we're coming to see it.
Yeah. You should.
Because I really want to see it.
Please do. Please come.
Well, I think it'd be a good idea for us to do a walkthrough.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. We'd love that.
Haven't been in there since.
You maybe shouldn't say that.
I don't know what to say.
I know exactly.
I'd like you to come after we get the chandeliers up. After we get the chandeliers up for effect.
I have an
Can't really tell you.
I have an excuse, Ray. I would have had to sneak in. All right, so, well, we might as well just keep on rolling here. You know, do we want to? We're gonna be on.
We're gonna be on
We're gonna be right there. Boy, they're gonna like us on cottage street. So we have 5:30ish. Are you open on Monday?
Oh, yeah, we're open 7
Okay,
days a week.
you're always
yeah.
open. That's right. They said that. So.
It's 11, the tattoo shop hours are 11 to 7, it changes if there's events.
Okay, so we're gonna put you in for about 5:30. Give us a little leeway, because we're gonna be at 2 other places before you. So that's 5:30 on 8/15.
Make a motion that we move our office.
Yeah, good. And then continuing the hearing for 9/12 at 6 o'clock. Does that all sound right to everybody?
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So, does anyone in the public here have any questions, comments, concerns? No? Okay. So, can I get a motion on those 2 days and times?
I thought we made a motion.
Oh, was it a motion? I was just outlining the days and times. Did you make the motion? And
I will make,
interrupted you?
I will make another motion.
Okay.
I make a
Makes
motion
it.
that the new license application for Off the Wall is, the public, off the map, is continued to September 12th at 6 o'clock with a site visit scheduled for August 15th at 5:30.
Okay, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, man, looking forward to it. That goes with this. Make sure you tell me exactly where you found it. You've already done Well, we're really staying on schedule here.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow.
That's what you get.
That's probably because we're going into the justice.
Right.
Bring back the old days.
Frank Landry here for the Yes. Yeah, Frank, we're on probably 2 minutes, so. So this is everything we need for Domino's.
Yes.
That sounds pretty good. Alright. Okay, moving on, 6:30, transfer of license for Adamos Incorporated. Frank? Good evening. Have a seat. Right here. Yep. So, 6:30, we get a motion to open the public hearing for a transfer license for Adamos Incorporated.
I make a motion, we open it.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Hello. Good evening. So, could you please give us background on why we're here?
Sure. My name is Frank Flannery. I'm an attorney. I represent Roma Inc. Ms. Moreno, who's sitting at the end of the table, is the president and CEO. Ms. Moreno doesn't speak English all that well, so her grandson, Kevin Rosa, is also here to act as a translator, but he also works at the restaurant, so we can probably answer any sort of practical questions you might have about the day-to-day running of the restaurant. This is an existing license for Adamos. Roma Inc. bought the restaurant back in, I think it was April, this past spring. The family who has bought this restaurant has worked at various restaurants in the area, but this is the first restaurant that they have bought for themselves. Everybody who works there is a member of Ms. Moreno's family. It's primarily a restaurant, but there's a full bar which seats, I believe, 6 people. The restaurant's open until 9 on weekdays and 10 at night, so it's primarily a restaurant, less of a bar, but there is a bar there. I don't think the new owners plan on changing the character of the restaurant. The menu is essentially the same. They add a few items that are basically their own family recipes. But the plan is really just to sort of continue on in the same vein. So there's really not much that's going to change here. So I don't know what else the board would like to hear about the restaurant or the new owners, concerns or questions that you have.
Kelly, sorry? You have a question?
Why weren't you before us in April when this got transferred? You've been using this license.
I don't know.
Yeah, they transferred. Yeah, that you were when Con left, he was in the hurry to leave.
I don't know the answer to that question. I can tell you that we handled the sale and then we started working on the application. I didn't work on it personally. I worked for Department of Grady. And so I know that it takes some time to put these applications together, but beyond that, I don't know. It certainly wasn't anything that the new owners did as a way of, they didn't intend to do anything inappropriate, if that's your question. The application should have been filed sooner. That's really on Department of Grady, not so much on Roma Inc.
So, the restaurant bar was purchased in April.
Yeah, I think the sale went through in May.
So the sale went through in May of 2016.
Yes.
Okay.
No, April 19th, 2016.
Okay, April.
Oh, I'm sorry.
2016. Okay. And so since that time, they've been operating with somebody else's liquor
Yes.
license?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Who is this someone?
Sarah Damos. Sarah Damos, his wife.
That's the prior
Previous
owners.
owner.
She's not on site.
No.
Anymore?
No.
So who's the manager of the restaurant?
I am.
You're the manager of
Yes.
record?
No, he's not. He basically runs the restaurant, but he's not.
Who's the manager of record?
Ms. Rose is.
Okay.
And she's there daily?
Yeah, she's there. Yeah, she's in there and out of there sometimes.
And she's certified to serve?
No.
So
Are
who-
you?
No, I'm working on my serve safe right now.
Is there anyone else there who is served, say?
The tip serve safe?
Yes.
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
do we have that on record? With these
I
people?
have-
Is it in the application?
I haven't come across it yet.
No, I have her certificate at the restaurant though.
Okay. So, you have a manager of record who's not certified, and but you do have a couple of bartenders who are, but we
Correct.
don't have that in the documentation in the application for the transfer of the license.
Okay.
Okay, that's something we're gonna need to work on.
Okay, definitely.
Is it gonna be worth neglecting to go through some of the old documents from the previous owners?
What is it that you're looking for in those documents?
I'm wondering how many employees, whether or not the restaurant at all has changed from the way it was before. to
Are
the way it
all
is
of your
now.
employees changed from when?
No, just a new cook. Same servers, one new server.
Hours of operation are the same?
Same, yeah, same.
Okay.
So what is it?
Just wanna see their last renewal. Okay. Question?
No.
Question?
I'd like to see somebody certified
Yeah.
that's serving alcohol there.
I'd like to see a
and-
clearer picture as to who is going to be the manager of this operation and what that person's credentials are.
And I can't believe one waitress is the only one serving alcohol in the premises.
The manager on record should be in their application, which I believe is your grandmother?
right.
Okay.
Well, I'd
Who
like
doesn't
it-
speak English, so I don't know how she's
Like-
taking orders and
I
serving
think it
people.
would maybe be a good idea if we have, you may rethink who the manager is going to be.
Okay.
And I mean, maybe someone who has, I don't know what your grandmother's experience is as far as managing an operation in Massachusetts that is serving alcohol.
Okay.
'Cause that's what we're looking for usually in someone who's the manager of record, that type of establishment. So I think you need to figure out who that's gonna be.
Okay.
And come back to us with that, along with anything else that anyone else thinks of, but I would say copies of the tip certification of who's gonna be serving alcohol currently. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add?
Not right now.
No? Okay. So, I see no reason to go visit the site unless someone else does. No, okay, so,
But I think those things have to be produced before we sign off on them.
no doubt, I have no intention of seeing it, to asking if anyone has a motion on this as of yet. What I'm looking at is whether or not we want to put them on our next meeting. Is it safe to say right now they're operating without a valid alcohol license?
Yes.
It is safe to say that. Okay, that's a problem. I'm not really sure what we should do about that.
We can certainly agree to stop surveying until the next meeting.
The next meeting isn't going to be until September 12th.
They're not operating with a valid license.
That's correct.
They don't have a license to sell alcohol, then.
I believe that's the long and short. Okay.
Technically, you gotta suspend it.
Okay, so I guess then that begs the next question is, this isn't really what they need.
Yeah.
That's a transfer of license. They need a new application for a license.
They have to start over.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but
I think what needs to be done is they need to contact the ABCC.
Yeah, because
and get
this,
guidance on
they
what-
can't transfer a license that
which
they
would
don't
be-
own.
Which would be, you know, their lawyer
Yeah.
would need to look into.
Yeah, they can't transfer it if they don't own it.
okay. So that's where we are right now. I'm not, at this point, I'm not even sure we wanna continue this public hearing, because I don't see what we're having a public hearing on. Because there is no transfer of license, there is no license. So, you know, I guess we could, make a motion to reject something that we're not accepting. I don't even know what kind of sense that makes.
We'd have to suspend
We did
this.
open the public hearing. Yes, make a motion to suspend the license.
Suspend it and then make an appeal to the ABC,
But they don't have a license.
because they don't have a license.
So we're not suspending it. I'm sorry, I don't wanna split hairs, honestly, I don't, I just.
Well, done many years ago.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Or call
maybe
her up.
that's the simplest way of doing it then,
Yeah.
right? Someone wanna make a motion? See how we're gonna word this? Cause we're essentially going to suspend a license that they don't have. And we are not accepting this transfer because they have nothing to transfer.
Yeah, if they're
Nothing
selling
to
without a
transfer.
license, that's an arrestable offense.
This is true. So,
And no alcohol is to be served.
no alcohol is to be served.
Yeah.
I think we need to draft a letter as well to the ABCC, explaining to them what is transacted here.
Suspend the license until we get advice from the town council or the ABC.
Make that a motion.
I make it a motion.
Okay.
Sorry, what is the motion again? Motion to?
Suspend the license, which in parentheses, that doesn't actually exist. Until further time that direction is given to the applicant from the ABCC and from the city solicitor as to how to go forward with this.
Actually, yeah.
Well, this is a problem. This is a real problem. Because, I mean, I'm not to say I'm not I'm without sympathy here, but, I mean, we're suspending a license you don't have, which means if you come back, you're gonna have to apply for a new license, which
Yeah.
we may not have any available. Do you understand that? So, this is a definite problem. So if you wanna do anything about serving alcohol, you better get on your horse and do it right away. Because I'm not even sure what the ABCC is what their reaction to this is gonna be, because in fact, as Ray said, it's a bit extreme, it's an arrestable offense. You're selling alcohol without a license.
Where's the guy that owns this?
That's why I'm asking for the documentation from
Yeah.
the last time that this
Who
person
has,
has renewed the license.
do you happen to know who owns this?
Yes.
All right, get a hold of that guy and have him transferred over to him. Okay, have that guy do it.
Wait,
And
Ray,
then,
Ray, stop.
We need direction.
Stop.
No, that's
No,
the way to
I
do
understand,
it.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let them talk to the ABCC first. I don't want us to be giving them,
I'm not
said
giving-
before, giving them direction
Yeah.
as to which direction to go with. I mean, I'd be happy to
That's
help,
what I'm-
but
that's what
I
I'm
want the
saying.
ABCC to wait.
yeah,
before
that's
they
what I'm
do
saying,
anything.
it's up to the attorney.
So, contact the ABCC.
Yeah.
Right away. Okay?
Right.
Good.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, 6:30, new license application, Community Food Engine LLC. Hello again.
They're looking. And we haven't opened it yet.
You have it, haven't you?
No, we haven't. Soon though.
Okay. All right, so 6:30, scheduled for 6:30 at 6:45. This is a new new license application for all alcohol for Community Food Engine LLC. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
I make a motion to open the public hearing for the new license application for Community Food Engine LLC.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Hold that.
Hello.
So, we know who you are. I know where you live. So, just explain to us what it is you're asking us.
Okay, well, we currently have a seasonal liquor license to serve wine and malt with cordials. We would like to apply for an all alcohol liquor license, which is what the application is for. We are an indoor park, we are a park, and we have a restaurant in the park. And the restaurant will be serving food with alcohol. And it's a interesting, rather unique space. And one of the things we see happening based on some of the inquiries we've received is to have events as well in the park. And so we would like the opportunity to be able to serve all types of alcohol, primarily really for those occasions. So really those are the occasions we have in mind. We have not yet opened. Our opening date is now scheduled for the first week of September. We are going to have what we call soft openings. And none of those really, I don't even think any of those, except for our appreciation night in a couple of days, will be serving with not selling. We're not at the point of selling any alcohol at this time. So how many events are you planning on having? We don't have anything scheduled as yet. I mean, I think the only thing that we're donating our space to is Eastoberfest for the community center, but that's just beer that they're going to be serving. I don't know, probably once or twice a month. It all depends on how long it takes us to clean up the turf after people spill alcohol on our grass. I don't know. We don't, as I said, we haven't opened this yet. So what the space is going to be like, how we're going to be using it is still fairly unknown. In terms of the alcohol, in terms of how it's going to be used, it is a space, a free space for people to come in out from outside and just walk through the park and relax. So some of the concerns we had last time was where in the park we'd be serving. We have specifically designated space, which is now defined on the floor plan that is in part of the package. It's fairly delineated also within the park in terms of tiled areas and a boardwalk, and also planters. We were growing plants hydroponically, so they pretty much mark out the space where for the regular service from the restaurant, it will be pretty much limited, plus signage, which we said we will be putting up as well.
How much of this application differs from the previous application? Really not at all? Okay.
What are your serving hours? Our opening hours, we haven't really defined serving hours. It definitely would not be before noon, but we haven't defined the serving hours as yet. We're going to be open probably about 9 o'clock in the morning. We will not be serving alcohol before noon and dinner. We haven't really defined it. And what kind of food are you serving? Is it a full restaurant?
It is a full restaurant. We have a full commercial restaurant. We are growing fruits and vegetables in the park, so a lot of what we're going to be growing we'll be using in our food and beverages. So a lot of salads, flatbread type foods. I don't know what the chef has in mind, but it's primarily centered around using what we're growing in the park.
So it's more sandwiches and salads and stuff like that?
There will be finger foods, chicken wings, pretzels, different things, and dinner type food. We're not planning on doing steak at this point. It's not on our schedule, steaks and things like that. No.
Ray and I have walked through this
I have not.
before, but you have not. So
I have not.
Really
I would, and I would also like,
That's good.
I would like to see it, but I would also, as you keep saying, you're not open yet, you don't really have your plans in place yet, and I think you would like to have a little bit more definitive exactly what you're gonna be doing, when you're gonna be serving, when, you know, how many events you're gonna be having. I know it's hard when you're starting out to determine how many you are.
Yes, and I don't know that we're gonna know how many events we're gonna be having. I think it's hard to say. We don't have any events of our own planned except for our appreciation night for the folks who were involved in, bringing the space together, which is in a couple of days. The other events that we have, we're holding a retreat for high school students. We're gonna have workshops and things like that, and of course, there will be no alcohol served. Then, we have, and except for the Eastoberfest, we really don't have anything that we're planned where there's alcohol at all. And I don't know that we're gonna know, I don't even know if it's, I can't even see if it's gonna be once a month.
Well, that's one of the things we have to take into when we're reviewing
Right.
your application, is this best serving the community that you're getting an all alcohol license?
Right.
If you're only going to be using it once a month, or for something
Well,
where you're not.
it's also open, like generally you can walk in, and it's not just for an event space.
Right.
It's so you can
It's
walk
for
in.
all the time for the
Yes,
restaurant?
it's like a
Okay.
park, but it's inside.
Okay, I haven't been there, so.
No,
I
it
don't
took me a
know.
while. Believe me, Nicolette will
Yeah.
attest to it. I had to ask 5 times. It's a park, but it's inside. But
It's-
it's, no, you walk in, you can actually go there, like, and visit and have dinner and or have a lunch and have a cocktail. It's not just open for events. It's open
Right,
all the time.
it's
But
not
you
a-
you have to definitely.
It's not an
want you to go
event.
see it. Kinda cool. There's a mushroom house inside.
Okay. All right.
Big fan.
Well, I would like to do the site visit
Good.
and continue the
Let's
public
do that.
hearing.
Do we wanna do that on the same day as the
No.
4 others?
No, no, I would.
That's fine.
Can we do that one next Monday?
This coming Monday?
Yeah, the 8th. Is that okay for you?
That's fine.
For 5 o'clock?
Mhm.
Hang on. Let me just make sure I'm pretty sure that's.
Does it come to work through the space or
Yeah.
to?
Yeah.
Okay, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I make a motion that we continue the public hearing for the new license application for the Community Food Engine to the September 12th meeting at 6:15, and do a site visit on August 8th at 5 o'clock.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll see you then.
Yes.
Glad you came, Sal. Anything else?
There is none on there.
Can I get a motion to close the meeting?
Make a motion, we close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Dana, you are the first one that I can find that
Aye.
the we